a sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First pride that runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raising voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits roll. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, radio night band.
All right, it is that time of the week. It is time for the Drive the State show here as we come to you live here on this Tuesday evening here for the Drive the State show. Yes, we have the new updated FHSAA Playoff Rankings and see how wacky things are as Emery Smith hops on to the chat already, and we're gonna definitely deep dive into this because I still got questions, Chris, about everything that we have got seeing here so far. And good evening to you, Christopher Like over there. I'm Josh Wilson, and I got more questions than I have answers. It seems like again.
Yeah, there's the recurring theme from last week, you know. But and what do you expect?
Yeah, what do you expect here in this situation here? And I'm gonna have it up on the screen here as we roll along here. I'm gonna have last week's rankings on one screen. I've got the playoff bracket ready to go. The playoff bracket's all ready to go. And I thought we weren't gonna make airtime on time tonight, but we did. So everything's going good. Got the drinks, got the Cheez-Its. Even got the pudding here tonight, Chris. I've got the snacks.
I don't have anything tonight, so.
That's not good. That's not good. But again, welcome to Drive the State here. And if you got a comment, got a question, drop it into the chat here as we get ready to roll into our the brackets here. And we appreciate everybody joining us here tonight. And again, a lot more questions. And then we're going to go ahead and start this off here with the Class Rural bracket here, Chris. And it's going to be interesting to say as we get going into this here. This is what the Week 7 projected bracket looks like here from the rural classification. And it's really, there's changes, but there's not changes, I should say, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah. Okay.
I'm scratching my head. I think the biggest question, thing. Yeah, I understand. What we realized Emery last night is that we had to move the show because it seemed like for this is that people didn't want to stay up until after 10 o'clock to wait for this. So better to go ahead and put it in front of the shows and then do the shows afterwards. So that's okay. It's going to be like this every week going forward. Putting the state show sitting at 6:15. The rural bracket. I got questions because you see here it's a straight 1 through 16 situation here with this bracket. I got questions about, Taylor County sitting at 2. To me, Taylor County hasn't proven, in my opinion, to be sitting there at 2. I think, top 8, yes, but 2, that's a bit of a reach. I feel like when you talk about teams that have played stronger schedules, how about a Madison County here? I mean, come on. I mean, last week they were sitting at 12. This week they're sitting at 10. At least they're moving up. But my problem is that I just don't know, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, it's questionable at best now. So,
I mean, you look at it here. I mean, Bluntstown stays the same. Taylor County stays the same. Chiefland stays the same. I mean, last week Trenton was sitting there at 6. They're down to 8. Pahokee, they're still sitting at 4. Chipley, who was 5, is now 12. When we're talking about Williston, is up from 7 to 5. I mean, there's a lot of questions I've got here just surrounding all of this.
You wonder what kind of system is they're using. I've heard rumbling that they are not happy with the rankings themselves, but what can you say? I mean, I don't know if it's strength of schedule or what's playing into factor.
I don't know. The strength of schedule, in my opinion, is not weighing very heavily here in a lot of things, and this is where. Yes, I'll kind of let it drip a little bit, but there has been some inquiry into our rankings, the Florida Power Rankings Index rankings, which, by the way, I have ran the rankings. I've got the forecast sort of ready to go. That'll end up dropping tomorrow because I just time the day and everything. Still a lot going on here, but I got to tell you, as I pull this up here, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up to see if I can get it pulled up on my rankings just to compare what we've got here so far here. Rural classification is what we're working on right now, and I got to tell you right now, I feel like, to me right now, still the best team, the team that has played the strongest schedule and is technically still, in my opinion, the best team in the world class is Madison County. I do not agree that Bluntstown has played a stronger schedule than Madison County. Madison County should be way higher on this list. I mean, Hawthorne, Chipley, I feel like, because you lost to Holmes County, I get it, but it's, in my opinion here, it actually, what's interesting, if I'm looking at this correctly, it did not push Holmes County in the Max Preps rankings into the top 16, despite the fact they beat Chipley. So that tells you, if that tells you anything, I can tell you this. Head-to-head doesn't have a lot of shifting powers here. I mean, there is a head-to-head factor in the Florida Power Rankings Index. Sometimes it does, especially if they're closer together. But if there's a wider gap, sometimes that head-to-head's not going to jump a team over just because you won that 1 week. You've got to win multiple games, in my opinion.
Yeah, the head-to-head thing is a head question for me as well on this. I think the head-to-head should weigh a little bit more than in many cases, because they played actually on the field. So, you look at it and you look at Madison County's case, and I think they should be maybe top 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, no, I agree. And looking at the rest of this here, I mean, I'm just looking at a comparative here. And, when I look at it, Holmes County, in my opinion, should be in the top 16. They're top 16 in the Florida Power Rankings Index. Fort Meade last week, I mean, the teams, I'll be honest, Bluntstown is not the 1 seed. Bluntstown should be better probably between that 9 and 16 range. Again, this is just, in my opinion here, when I'm looking at it, the strength of schedule, I don't know. I feel like there's too much given to the win-loss record versus the actual strength of schedule.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading through this as well. It's like they're valuing wins over opponent's strength of schedule and everything else combined with it. So,
I mean, I'm hoping to see some change in this next week, because, I mean, after that, we're going to be going into week 8. We'll have 7 weeks worth of games here. Obviously, if we don't see a lot of changes starting to shift here, I'm going to have more questions than answers when it comes later on.
And you're going to be seeing some good teams left out of the playoffs with the way this format is structured right now. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And of course, as you see here, Snead sitting at 16. I mean, Snead is about close to that in the Florida Power Rankings Index, what's going to come out tomorrow. Taylor County, I will tell you this, Taylor County is not a top 10 team right now. According to the computer the computer is saying Taylor County, no, not on this. I get it. They're 5-0, but my thing is that it's who have you played? At this particular point, who have you played? And I just feel like excuse me, this is
yeah, there's just too much weight on just a simple win, and that's wrong in my opinion. There's no eyeball test here, and that's the main problem with this entire structure of playoff seeding.
I got it. You know what? This is totally backwards.
It is.
So there you go. I do have the dump button, by the way. So I mean, it just there's a lot in my opinion. If you got a question, got a comment, go ahead and drop it into the chat box wherever you're watching us from, be it Facebook, be it YouTube, be it on X/Twitter. Drop a comment in. We'll answer their questions as we go rolling along here over the next little bit here. We got about another 45 minutes on this, but we're going to roll into this one. Again, as you see it here, Class Rural, that's what we've got rolling here in terms of that bracket here. All right, as we roll into Class 1A, again, this one, Class 1A is interesting in a lot of aspects. There's some changes to Region 1 as we roll along here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can sort this. Yeah, should be able to sort this out here real quick here. Just give me 1 second, because we're gonna compare to what the computer is saying on my end, what we have ran so far here through 6 weeks worth of games, 7 weeks if you're adding the SSAA, because some of the FHA teams do cross over with the SSA in terms of scheduling. So we do have those impacts in there. So trying to get it here to region. That's where I want to do this. Okay, that's what I want here. Yeah. We've seen a shift here in this one. University Christian jumps to 1, McClay 2. It's a back and forth between those two teams. I feel like we're the computer's in more of agreement with this one right now. Emery asked if they're doing the FIT for rural. I'm hearing some rumors that a lot of these rural teams have actually opted out this year, which leads me to believe there may not be that FIT bracket this year.
I mean, that was a good experiment for 1 year, but I don't see the value in it, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be bringing it to the larger classifications this year, and I'm kind of curious to see if that's going to pan out, because honestly, I feel like for in my opinion, a lot of teams that are trying, like it's not seen. Hey, if we can't be in the main bracket, why are we playing second fiddle here?
Yeah, and you got some of these kids that play multiple sports, and they want to jump right into basketball. So, right when the season ends. So,
absolutely.
That's the reason this doesn't make any sense.
No, absolutely. You see, Episcopal 3. The computer agrees about we're ranging the Impact Christian, Trinity Christian. Trinity Christian. It's 6. It's about 5 in our region in terms of our rankings here. So pretty close. The one team, Providence is 2 and 4, but Providence is actually like 9th in the rankings right now. So they're like right below that, but Providence kind of higher. North Florida Christian, Trinity Catholic, and then there's North Florida Educational. I got to say this in Class 1A Region 1, if I'm going to give you my opinion right now, Chris, I expect Providence to be sitting in that top 8 by the end when the final bracket comes out. I do not expect North Florida Educational to be sitting in that bracket.
Yeah, I agree with you. Providence is a much better team. They play a much tougher schedule. So, in terms of this bracket, I think Providence will end up in the top 7, or maybe number 6 by the time it ends up.
No, absolutely. And of course, as you see here, I think Trinity Christian will rise up a little bit. It's going to come down to Episcopal and Trinity Christian for that District 1A2 there. University Christian, they beat Impact Christian. If they beat Providence, they'll win the district outright. And I wouldn't be surprised if University Christian actually ends up being the 1 seed in that region. University Christian McClay, they're kind of close and similar. I think even in terms of the back half of the schedule, University Christian's going to play a much tougher schedule. And agree, Emory. They have played a much tougher schedule with Providence. That's the thing. This is where I scratch my head at, that Providence should be sitting in this top 8, and they're not. But the Florida Power Rankings Index says, hey, they're a top 8 team in this region. So there's that. This may be why we're starting to get to be asked about our power rankings. But I got to tell you, I'm not going to divulge the formula. That's not going to happen. I don't care how much money anybody offers me. I'm not divulging the formula. And there's still some tweaks to be made to this thing as we eventually will start to put more data over historical data to help guide this model along further. I think I think now where it's sitting at now in terms of the tweaks we've made so far this season, it's there. I think we're pretty much where it should be at for a model now. I mean, some analytical numbers, comparisons, we're getting there. We were about 79% right on the picks last week with the computer. So
yeah, and the results of the picks represent the success of the rankings. So
yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. So, absolutely. As you see here, Region 2, Class 1A, Region 2 here. You got Clearwater Central Catholic at 1. The rankings say that is the case. Carrollwood Day 2. Again, our rankings are matching, lining up here so far. But Victory Christian, that one, they lost to Benjamin. Yes. But again, Victory Christian has played a much tougher schedule, and they've still got a tough slate coming up here. So, the computer is saying Victory Christian probably should be higher. Lakeland Christian at 3. We're about in that neighborhood. But again, this is where it's tough. And you know what's interesting? And I'm going to say this. Look at it. Hey, Philo Lopez, they're in. By the way, they're in the district here. They are into the playoffs here because they won 1A5 here this past week. But in my opinion, our computer, it's got Philo Lopez actually sitting in the middle tier of that classification of that region there. So it's valuing Philo Lopez a little bit lower, and I don't know if they're getting as much value as they should, especially since the fact that last year they were like an 0-9 team. So did any change? You know what? I don't know if anything has changed in the formulas for the Max Preps rankings. I don't know. But I know that there's a predictive analysis, and there's not one in this, but there's one on the Max Prep side, but not the one for the FHA that uses it. It's the predictive analysis is pulled out of that.
The main difference between this year and last year was Max Prep no longer has the Freeman rankings, which is the the Massey ranking. The Freeman ranking in California. That's gone.
That was called CalPreps.
Part of the equation is no longer a part of the formula. So.
Yeah, and this is Max Prep's own rankings, which it's what they use in all their other sports. So this is they're using it in football, but in the football side, there's a predictive analysis still, and that's the problem. Is that why you don't see why it looks one way on one side, then it looks like this way on this side. So again, looking at it here, I mean, going down the list, Indian Rocks Christian probably 7. They'll probably be like the 8th. Probably be about like the 8th seed somewhere in this range. Probably a 9 seed potentially. It's going to bounce back and forth. Crescent City. It depends on what happens here, but so far we're pretty close and similar in terms of where these teams should be at. Orlando Christian Prep, Melbourne Central Catholic, about right in the range in the neighborhood where they should be at, in my opinion here. But as we roll into Region 3 here, we got St. Pete Catholic sitting at the 1 seed, and St. Pete Catholic has shot up the rankings. Let's just put it that way. They have shot up the rankings here, and even in the Florida Power Rankings Index, they have shot up. And SPC is just rocking and rolling, 5-0 on the season, 1 seed. So we're pretty comparable here in terms of where they should be at. Community school at 2, Cardinal Newman at 3, at 3. It's about right where the Florida Power Rankings Index has got them. Maybe flip it a little bit here, not in terms of that situation. St. John Newman at 5. I feel like, honestly, when you look at it, they should be like the 4 seed. Northside Christian, I don't know, has played necessarily as strong of a schedule. And see how this is playing an out-of-state school play into the rankings. What the FHA ranking, I don't know. There's a lot of questions that we put in our rankings, we do a calculative analysis of the out-of-state team when they come to play for that week. But outside of that, we don't track the out-of-state team each and every week because at the end of the day, we get a comparative analysis on that team, compare it up to what's going on with our teams here in Florida, and go with that. And so far, it's been pretty close to in terms of where to compare it at. So, but we really, honestly, I don't know what what the ranking is. It's caused a lot of debacle. It's caused a lot of headache, and you got to be honest. There's a. I digress, but as you see here, looking down the rankings here, the one team, Evangelical Christian 8. That's about where our rankings have got it. First Baptist is the last team out, right? First team out, and I expect them to be the team that misses the playoffs out of this region here. It's a 9-team region, and there's 8 going.
Yeah, totally fair. Not much difference here, but we'll see it improve over the next couple of weeks. I think with this group here. So.
No, absolutely.
I really don't have any disagreements. So
no, I don't have any much disagreements here. I maybe put Cardinal Newman at 2, put St. Community School at 3, and I think you probably call it even, but maybe not. All right, this one, this one. Please tell me who has played the toughest schedule in this region. Please tell me who has played the toughest schedule in this region, because it sure ain't St. Andrews.
No. Oh my goodness.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm sorry, but everybody's playing for second place in this region. Everybody's playing second place for this region. I mean,
Madonna is not the number 1 seed. At the end of this thing,
it's not the number 1 seed in this region. By the time the playoff brackets are, finalized here, come next month. Actually not next month. Technically, it's almost October, by the way. So October.
One more day.
I guess I'm right in some aspects. Really, when these playoff brackets are about finalized here in about a month's time, I'm telling you right now, Chaminade Madonna ain't the 1 seed. There will be a lot of cry foul here because, and honestly, I will be. There's just even our rankings, Chaminade Madonna. Actually, our rankings think Westminster Christian is like the 2 seed. I feel like Westminster Christian has even played a bunch in terms. They played a better schedule. They played a good schedule. Yes, St. Andrews' schedule. Our opponent strength index is giving St. Andrews a little bit tougher schedule. But really, what's got to matter is that your opponents have got to win games too, in my opinion.
Yeah. For some reason, like we said earlier, I think this thing is valuing wins over the opponents. So
yeah, True North, they've got True North 3, True North's 4 and ours. Archbishop Carroll sitting there at 5. That's about right. Palmer Trinity at 8. It's got Palmer Trinity a bit higher. I think Palmer Trinity, there's some fluctuations that are going to be situated there. St. John Paul II, obviously, sitting there in the mix. Miami Edison, about right where they probably should be. And then, it's that's about, and that's about where I would say it would be at. Let me.
Mm-hmm. I just disagree with St. Andrews and Chaminade Madonna right now.
Yes, the open division. Okay, so Chris, we got a couple of questions sitting here in the chat here. Will the FHSAA get rid of classes based off size of the school? Chaminade being one is. I feel like there's going to be some stuff we're going to start hearing some stuff coming out probably in about another week and a half, 2 weeks. I've got an idea. I'm trying to work on it. I'm hoping I can submit something over to the FHSAA because I feel like there's something that could work. It's something that I will put in an article form, and it'll be available to subscribers who are season ticket members as well once I get that all situated. It's been crazy here the last few weeks. Please understand, there's been a lot going on outside what's on the camera. So definitely appreciate everybody that does understand that. Is the open division ever going to happen? Yes, that is slated to start next year, but let's see what happens on the proposals for.
I'm not in favor of it, but
but it was approved. It was approved almost 2 years ago by the FHSAA board of directors. So let's just let's sit tight. We'll see what happens there. But all right, let's go into Class 2A here, where we see Bowles number 1 And I definitely agree with that. Tomorrow night, by the way, on our Northeast Florida Blitz, we're going to have Xander Edwards, who, yes, set that 8 rushing touchdown record. We will have him on our Northeast Florida Blitz show. By the way, also our North Central Florida Blitz, we will have the Robbie Pruitt, yes, head coach Robbie Pruitt from Williston, who became the first head coach ever in the nation to win 200 games in 2 different states. So that's a some historical milestones have been set this year, Chris, and it's pretty impressive.
And I know my fair share of history nationally, so and you already know that. Like the great John McKissick out in South Carolina, or Gordon Wood in Texas. Those guys, they're legendary. Robbie Pruitt is among that group now. So
Robbie Pruitt joins among the legendaries of Corky Rogers and Bill Castle. You're talking Gene Cox. I mean, we're going to start throwing names out. So that's the big thing. All right, looking at this one, Region 2, Bowles sitting at 1. Our rankings agree with it. Actually, rankings agree with it. Bowles, Pensacola Catholic. Not necessarily so much on South Walton, Florida High right this second. Gaston County, what's interesting, Gaston County obviously is not qualified for the playoffs. They will not be qualified for the playoffs, so they are not, but they're way lower. Our rankings are treating them a little higher right this second, but that should correct itself here as we get Gaston County a few more games into the system. It's a lot of it. We're going to see what's going to happen here. Are y'all projecting Bozeman to win District? You mean District 2? That one's really interesting. I feel like right now it's you obviously got South Walton in District 1. I feel like District 1's going to carry a lot of teams into the playoffs. Obviously Freeport as well. District 2, where Bozeman is at, I feel like right this second, what you're going to see here, what's going to right this second, what's going to happen here is that this is what we're going to see.
If you go to the if you're a premium subscriber, you can go to our playoff roadmap and you can actually see how we're projecting that so far.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this right now. And this is probably one of the slight flaws of the system this year. But as we get more data in there, Mariana, it kind of over projected Mariana. Obviously, Mariana is struggling. Okay, that's probably where we had one shortfall. All right. I think what's going to happen with District 2 is this. The majority of those, probably all 4 of those teams are going to end up below 8, with Bozeman probably taking the number 8 seed. But right this second, they're sitting 7. All right. So Andrew Jackson could be potentially a team that might miss out, depending on how the final rankings sort out. Or it could be Walton. So again, we've got some interesting scenarios going here. Honestly, right now, I feel like it's
like you said. I fully expect District 2 to be the 8th seed. So,
yeah, I mean, District 2 is going to be it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Florida High is going to take District 3. They're de facto district champs. They're going to be in, and then District 4. I expect Bowles. I expect Baldwin to be in it. I mean, obviously, Bowles just beat Baldwin. Obviously, a high scoring affair. So we'll go from there on that one. Let's take a look at Region 2 here. The Villages actually jumps up to the 1 seed, drops Bradford down to 2 here, but Lake Placid still at 8. Lake Placid still really actually kind of just it's interesting to say. I believe they were actually 9 still. So you got a situation where they actually may have risen up to 8. Of course, I was going through these and just trying to get everything done situated. But that district where Lake Placid is at, I want to say that is District 2A7. I want to say. I want to say that's the district number. Yeah, it is 2A7. Last year, that district, they were the highest, the best team finished like that, and that was Lake Placid. They finished 9th or 10th in that district, and they took over. Right now, Newberry's actually, yes, Lake Placid was 9 because Newberry's actually 8, and right now, because of Lake Placid, it would force Newberry out of the playoff bracket. So does that tell you anything right now?
Yeah, there you go. Now you look at that Cocoa district. You have Cocoa at 4 on this list, and then Astronaut at 6.
Yeah, it really. it just in Santa Fe's at 3. By the way, Santa Fe was actually like 4 last week, and they rose up despite the fact they lost to University Christian. But again, there's that strength. So the strength of schedule, I feel like it's kind of like imbalanced here in a lot of ways. What really counts as strength of schedule here, because Santa Fe they lose pretty badly, but it's against a good team, and they raise in the rankings here. I just don't know how to handle that one. Cocoa, I feel like will end up going higher. Obviously, Cocoa is still having their own core issues, but right now our FPRI has Bradford, Villages, Cocoa in that order in terms of the region. Then Santa Fe, which okay, Santa Fe is coming up now. Yeah. What will handle the issue with Newberry is if Santa Fe does beat Newberry here in the next couple of weeks. If that happens, then that'll take care of any issues that we may have.
And more than likely, that's going to be the case. So.
Yeah. So, but as you see it here, Tampa Catholic's an interesting one here, because actually our rankings have got Tampa Catholic way lower, actually like second to last. But we'll see here if they can start to pick up some wins here along the way. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at Calvary Christian at 5. I'm kind of puzzled. I don't know if I agree with that or not.
The computer's got him sitting at 5 in the actually a little bit lower than that in the region. So it's I think there's a lot to be determined here. To see, I think Berkeley Prep struggles have impacted those two teams, Calvary Christian, and then obviously it's going to be Tampa Catholic as well. It's going to impact, but we'll have to see. We'll see if Berkeley can like make a late season push and kind of do something here. But right now, yeah. But Region 3 here, Chris. We got Cardinal Mooney. Cardinal Mooney at 1. Lakewood was actually the 1 seed last week. They flipped spots, so about right where we're kind of projecting them to be in our rankings here. And then obviously Glade Central sitting at 3, right on the money there. And then Calvary Christian Fort Lauderdale 4. So we're starting to see some similarities here. Kings Academy 5. Inland Grove, they're ranked a little bit higher in our rankings, but not so much in the FHA Max Price Power Rankings. We'll see if Inland Grove can make a push here. And then obviously you see Bishop Rowe. Bishop Rowe has had some struggles of their own. Obviously, not a good week last week for them. North Broward Prep's in the mix. Obviously, they're going to end up probably most likely between Calvary Christian, North Broward Prep. Those two teams out of they'll come out there of 2A12, and of course you see Somerset Canyon sitting there in the mix as well. So right now, a team last year that made the playoffs that had a really good run, Tarpon Springs. Right now, they're nowhere to be found. So there you go. And by the way,
I fully expect Tarpon Springs to be in there at the end of it.
Yeah. By the way, Zach, to answer your question, if there is a 3-way tie in a district, it will go to the power rankings, and they will go and it will go to the power rankings. Whoever the highest rated team is of the 3-way tie, that's who will win the district. All right, 2A Region 4 here. Cardinal Gibbons sitting at 1 still, despite the fact they did lose last night. That is now factored into the rankings, but it was to a really good West Broward team and a high offensive shootout. So I don't think I necessarily agree with disagree with this. Immaculate LaSalle sitting there in the mix as well, obviously sitting there at 2. And right now it's interesting because it's got our rankings are pretty close. Somerset Silver Palms, I feel like maybe should be higher. Gulliver Prep did get a big win here this past week, so they did get a win. But the problem is Gulliver has struggled in other games where they probably could have won a couple of those games. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here. And then obviously you see Monsignor Pace sitting there at the 8th seed, North Miami Beach at 7, Miami Killian at 6, and then Carroll City at 5. Who's the one team that would probably be sitting in this bracket if this was a normal year? Booker T. Washington, nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and they've had their own struggles, and they got a big game this week. In that game, yeah.
No, absolutely. All right, let's go to the Class 3A bracket here. Let's look at the Region 1. Obviously, Reigns 1, no surprise there. Looking at everything here, there's again a lot here to digest here, but we only have so much time to do this digestion as we roll along here. And I gotta say here as we look at it here, Chris. If Reigns should hold this spot for the remainder of the season in this one spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, Reigns should be there. That's a given. But then you look at Yulee and what they've done. that's a fair ranking, but
you got Yulee 2, Bay 3. I feel like those are actually fair. Wakulla at 5, and then at 5 and Bishop Kenny at 4. I feel like, those are going to flip flop around. Our rankings obviously is valuing Wakulla, West Florida, and Bishop Kenny in that order. Then there's Godby. One team that was in the mix last week that's not in there now is Menendez, despite the fact that Menendez did have a big win this past week. I don't see him sitting here in the mix here. Baker County, who lost to Godby, sitting there at 8. And I'm trying to figure this out, like in terms of, is Baker County really going to be that 8 seed, or is it potentially going to be Menendez? So there's going to be a lot to happen here. And that Bay, I think Bay should probably get that 2 seed. I think what Jeremy Brown's doing this year, especially the team, they're much better than what they were last year. When you look at it numbers to numbers, so we'll have to see what's going to happen here. And Bay's definitely
if Bay beats West Florida next week, they should be the number 2 seed, and they will likely roll through the rest of the schedule. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you there on that one, Chris. Let's look at Region 2 here. Bishop Moore at 1. That's not surprising here. South Sumter, South Sumter and O'Galley are kind of going back and forth here. So those two probably are going to fight for that 2-3 seed spotting, in my opinion here. Merritt Island at 4. Actually, that's a fair value ranking here. What I'm not understanding here is, why is Mount Dora 8? Considering Mountain Dora is 2 and 4, I feel like Tavares is kind of getting punished here somewhere, but we'll have to. Tavares and Mount Dora still got to play each other, so that's going to be coming here. So that'll probably settle that situation out. Obviously, Weeki Wachee, they're the best team, and they're sitting there in their district right now, and they're sitting there at a nice healthy 5-1 actually for Weeki Wachee. They may be on their way to their best season ever in program history, but. Yeah. I feel like Mount Dora at 8. Mount Dora's got some stuff to prove. Obviously, Tavares is probably like, hey, you know what? We'll play our way into this. Just watch. And I think so.
Yeah, that's going to sell its stuff. So that's the bracket there. So, I mean, I look at Merritt Island 4. That's pretty fair. They could flip between East Side and Merritt Island right now. But Merritt Island got their own little problems that we've seen, but they're still on a winning track.
Yeah, no, absolutely here. And of course, right now, my rankings don't give Mount Dora and Titusville as much value. I think Dunellen has played probably in terms of the other teams that are thinking Dunellen, North Marion, Central, out of Brooksville, and Mount Dora, and then Titusville. I mean, honestly, out of those teams that are sitting there on the back, in terms of outside the top 8, and according to our Florida Power Rankings Index, Dunellen's played the much stronger schedule, but Dunellen is not getting that reward right this second. So Dunellen's sitting on the outside looking in right this second as well. So yes, Weeki Wachee looking pretty good here this year, but that's Region 2 right there. Go to Region 3 here. Booker at 1, no surprise here. We'll have Carlos Woods from Booker on here tonight for the Southwest Florida Blitz, so we'll talk to him as well. But Mulberry at 8, Jefferson and Chamberlain 4-5, Nature Coast 3-6 with Boca Ciega, and then Bayshore 2-7 with Gibbs. This one I've got some. I don't know if Bayshore is going to end up landing in that 2 there. Mulberry will win that district just because they're going to end up winning that district. But they will be at best an 8 seed.
Yeah, if anything, I put Nature Coast at 2.
Yeah, I think Nature Coast should be a 2 in my opinion, and then maybe Jefferson 3. But Bayshore, I feel like Bayshore is kind of getting valued a little higher than they probably should be at this particular point. But if there's anything we can say, this is that in terms of Class 3A, it's probably one of the weakest classifications of all the classifications in the state.
Yeah. And so, I struggle with this region when I do the playoff roadmap. So.
Yeah, because you just don't know who you don't know who's going to be. He's going to be in the parking lot, who's going to be sitting in traffic, and who's going to be on the highway.
Yeah, it's a mess.
So, all right, 3A Region 4, Miami Central still sitting at 1, Miami Northwestern 2. By the way, guess what? Those 2 teams played this week, so we're going to settle this one all for all. We'll see because, we've seen it here so far. Head-to-head doesn't necessarily mean anything in this situation, but we'll see. But our rankings still got more Northwestern that's slightly ahead of Miami Central. Estero 3. Estero's ranked 7 here. I in our Estero's like number 3 in terms of our region. I feel like Estero, there's a lot to be questioned here in terms of who should be 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, you look at that Key West and St. Brendan right there.
Hey, wow, there's Mark Cannon here,
Yeah, you look at that Key West St. Brendan game there, and that looks awfully familiar.
Yeah, well, considering they just played each other last week, and Key West actually got the win right there. So, and that, in terms of looking at that, Key West St. Brendan, I mean, they're pretty close in the rankings here on ours. So, but we'll see. And you know what, I'm going to say one. I mean, Key West probably could be, I feel like Key West may be being rated higher. Even St. Brendan may be being rated higher, considering that Estero, Lely, Cypress Lake. But again, a lot of those teams they're gonna settle that situation out on the field. But the region, exactly, you're right. The Region 4 final will be basically the state championship game, which is such a shame.
Yeah. You look at Cypress Lake. I think Cypress Lake should be a little bit higher, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see.
But yeah. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break here, and then we will come back and do 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A to wrap this thing up here, and then we'll get things set for our shows coming up here for tonight here with our 4 regional shows. We'll be right back right after this here on the Drive the State edition of the Blitz.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Juggled and caught!
Welcome back here to the Drive State Show here on FHSAA.com, and good to see everybody on. Oh boy. They're asking if Mark Cannon's still stuck in the parking lot at Trash Pal.
How long has he been in that parking lot, by the way?
Huh?
How long has he been in that parking lot?
Obviously too long. Still waiting for that Miami Northwestern Venice game that was actually never going to happen this year. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll into the Class 4A bracket here as we look at Region 1, St. Augustine 1, Columbia, Choctaw 2, Columbia 3. Our rankings actually agree with this. Ed White 4, right on the money here. It kind of values Pine Forest and Booker T. Washington a little bit more than Escambia. Yeah, really. So Pine Forest actually is number 8. Escambia is actually a little bit lower, but Escambia has a 1-0 lead in that district. So we took Pine Forest out, bumped Escambia up because Escambia right now would be technically a de facto district champ if they win the district right now as it stands. So as you see, Booker T. Washington sitting at 5, Rickards 6. Rickards is kind of making a push here. We'll see what happens there with the Raiders, and then Honor of 7, and then of course, I guess we said Escambia 8.
There's not much I disagree with here. I'm just questioning whether Escambia can outlast that district and survive that district race. So that's the main thing. That's the main issue I've got right now.
And that's what I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with that district, because I'll tell you this right now: if Pine Forest were to, if I say this, if Pine Forest is to win, beat Escambia, we're looking at in Booker T. Washington beats Pine Forest, and we're looking at a 3-way tie, which could end up putting Escambia looking on the outside, looking in on the playoffs. But we'll see here. Obviously, in the next couple of weeks, between weeks 8 and 10, those are going to be critical here, because it's when those two remaining district games are for that district. But right now, as you see, St. Augustine, Columbia, they already played each other. St. Augustine basically on the inside track to that win their district. Columbia will be an at-large team, but could be a very high at-large team based upon their schedule.
Yeah, and not much I disagree with you, but like I said, Arnold sitting there at 7. Interesting spot right there for them.
No, absolutely here. As we roll along here and looking at this here, we got 4A Region 2 here. Obviously, Zephyr Hills at 1, and then there's Vanguard at 4, Jones at 2. There's some disagreements here. Our rankings have got this order: Vanguard, Zephyr Hills, Lake Wells, then Jones. I feel like Jones is still kind of they beat Auburndale pretty soundly. And all due respect, they were pissed off last week.
Yeah, they were, and I think we kind of pissed them off by talking too much Auburndale last week.
They must have saw that, and they're like, "Oh, they're gonna talk Auburndale. All right, we gonna show them who's legit." All right, so but New Smyrna Beach at 5. Actually, we agree with that. LeCanto sitting there in that 8. We're see that obviously. Auburndale at 6, and then Rockledge at 7. What's interesting is that, it's going to get interesting is to see who's there and what's going to happen here. I'm looking at it, and I mean the teams that are the top 8 here that we see here, our rankings agree with on that one. So it's not that it's the order. We'll have to see.
If there's any change I'd make, I'd probably put Auburndale at 5. And it's going to be at 6, but we're splitting here too. Oh.
No, absolutely. All right, coming up here, looking at this one, Jesuit sitting at 1 in Region 3 and 4A. They would host Blake in that 8 spot. Port Charlotte, River Ridge at a 4-5. Clearwater, Dunbar 3-6. Naples, Southeast 2-7. Looking at it this way, it's. Our rankings have kind of value Port Charlotte, Naples a little higher than Jesuit right this second. I feel like when we kind of look at the strength of the schedule so far, yes, Jesuit has played Valdosta. I think Jesuit kind of gets a little bit more meat in terms of what could help boost them to 1 in our rankings that coming up here in the next few weeks. But obviously, Port Charlotte, those teams right this second. We'll see what happens here. Dunbar 4, then Dunbar 6 on this. Southeast is kind of in the mix. South Fort Myers, I feel like South Fort Myers, they almost had an upset big bid there on Port Charlotte this past week. And it feels like I feel like South Fort Myers should be in this conversation here versus maybe Blake in this particular moment, but they're not. And then obviously there's River Ridge, Clearwater, and then that's where it's kind of sitting at right this second.
Yeah, the district schedules are going to start playing themselves out in this case right here. So you're clearly going to see who belongs where. So.
No, absolutely. By the way, Archbishop McCarthy, how about this 1 seed? They beat Miami Normal. Our computer was right on the ranking, but here's the thing: I don't think they're the 1 seed. Okay, our computer still thinks American Heritage is the better team, and I feel like American Heritage will come through and win this region. But Archbishop McCarthy is saying, "Hey, don't count us out." Obviously, American Heritage and Archbishop McCarthy are still got to play each other because they're in the same district. We'll see what happens here coming up here pretty soon in terms of that district here. But as you see here, looking at it, obviously McCarthy, Garcia, American Heritage, Sean Carroll, Dillard, Hialeah, Jensen Beach, Miami North. I'm gonna pick a massive bone here. Jensen Beach at 2. Come on, really? Seriously? I feel like American Heritage at least is if anything right in a second should be in that 2 or 1 spot in my opinion. But we'll have to see.
If anything, I'd put Jensen Beach at 3 and Dillard at 4, and then American Heritage at 2.
So, I mean, that's where we're at sitting here on that one. So, but we get into splitting hairs all day on this one and go from there. But, yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah, American Heritage played probably the toughest schedule in the country. I mean, come on.
Oh, absolutely here. All right, let's go into Class 5A here. Mainland, who Milton was sitting at this 1 seed last week. Mainland has shot up to that 1 seed. Would end up hosting Childs at the playoffs for the start today. Milton at 4, Beachside 5. Beachside and Middleburg kind of swap spots. Middleburg down to that 6 seed. Ponte Vedra at 3. Mosley 2. Mosley's come up a little bit here, especially after getting that win over Milton, and then Lincoln at 7. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I feel like right now we're kind of seeing the teams that are going to be in this mix here for 5A Region 1. I feel like this is the teams. One team you don't see that was in it last year, Fleming Island. I feel like Fleming Island has taken a slide here, and there you go. Middleburg, you better recognize. Thank you, Mark Cannon. Thank you.
Yeah, this is about right. I mean, these are the teams that we'll probably end up seeing at the end of it. So I have no complaints.
No, I don't have any complaints either here. I feel like these are going to be the teams that we're going to see here at the end of it. And let's let me make sure that I've got this situated correctly here. And then in terms of, there we go. And then one more click here. And then just looking at it here, I'll say this. Our rankings kind of value Ponte Vedra a little bit higher, but Ponte Vedra has played a tough schedule. So, I mean, Mosley, Beachside, Mainland, Milton, Middleburg, Niceville. That's the one team that's kind of lurking outside of this one. Niceville did pick up a win this past week. That's probably the one team that is the outlier here.
Yeah, the thing about Niceville now they've got to play the way in with the district instead of relying on that non-district schedule this time because
they're going to have to. They're going
to get in this time.
And they're going to have to meet Mosley in order to get in. That's what I feel like is going to end up having to happen here in this situation, is that they're going to end up having to push somebody out along the way. Obviously, Childs and Lincoln, that situation will take care of itself as well in that district as well. So, again, we'll see what's going to happen here.
Maybe Childs or Lincoln will be out, and then you see Niceville slide in there. So that's a very real possibility.
Mosley at Niceville next Thursday. Yep. As I was getting the schedules ready for the rest of the season to look ahead. Yeah. This one, I got some hairs to split because honestly, I feel like Lakeland's the best team right now sitting in this region. I mean, right now, the way they're playing, I feel like they should be 1. Gaylor's going to be dangerous too. Let's just say it's going to be a 1-2 situation. I feel like with that region here as we look at it here. And but Edgewater, I mean, those are the top 3. Well, actually, Edgewater, Tampa Bay Tech. My rankings, look at it, Lakeland, Edgewater, Gaylor, Tampa Bay Tech. They're the top 4 teams right this second. It's pretty close, but, we could split hairs all day on this one. What's interesting is Lake Gibson. I feel like Lake Gibson, they've played a tougher schedule so far, but let's see what happens. Maybe they're a little higher than ours. Nowhere to be found here. But looking at it, obviously you see in that 5 spot, Winter Springs. Our rankings with Winter Springs has actually got them 6. So they're about where they probably should be. Springstead. The Florida Power Rankings Index values Sebring just a little bit more than Spoto. We'll see what happens here. Obviously, Springstead at 8. Springstead's kind of had some struggles here, but actually, our rankings value Springstead just a little bit higher. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here. But I really honestly feel like Lakeland should be that 1 seed right now.
Yeah, I think Lakeland is being penalized for that 1 loss against De La Salle, where they were in it for 3.5 quarters, to be at least or 3.75 of the game in that game.
No, absolutely.
And they should be number one.
Yeah, looking at it here, Manatee 1, Charlotte 8, Immokalee 4, Gulf Coast 5, Riverdale 3, Pinellas Park 6, Cape Coral 2, North Fort Myers 7. Honestly, Manatee at 1, I felt like Manatee was always going to be the best team in this region. Let's see what happens here. I know that they have a big game this week against Columbia, and that is at Columbia. So we'll see what's going to happen with that particular game. I'm really curious to see if that's going to hold for them. Really, I think what's interesting, Cape Coral sitting at a nice 6-0 right now. And that's by the fact they had a coaching change halfway through only a few weeks into the season. I feel like there's a lot up for grabs here in terms of the teams here, and our rankings actually value Cape Coral as being the top team right now in that region, then Riverdale, Immokalee, Gulf Coast, then Manatee. So I feel like Manatee's still got some stuff to prove here, in my opinion, before I feel like that they really should be that 1 seed, in my opinion.
I agree with you there. I think Manatee at number 1 is kind of puzzling to me. But like we said, this is going to play itself out, but I think Cape Coral should be the number 1 team.
Yeah, and I agree. And with this, I feel like there's a lot of fluid situation, especially once you get past especially in that 5 through 8 range. There's going to be a lot that's going to happen here. So just buckle up, everybody, and hold tight, because I feel like this is going to look a lot different here in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
For Region 4, Atlantic's actually played a decent schedule. I'm okay with that in some aspects, but St. Thomas Aquinas probably should be the 1 seed. But look at it, they're 3. I don't necessarily agree with Mater Academy being the 2 seed, but Mater Academy is 6-0. So, and Ice Harris Sr., yes, that Ice Harris is the head coach there now at Mater Academy. So you can see why there's some effects going on here with Mater Academy now being in the mix. But really the top 3 teams, they're about top 3 teams, and then there's Coconut Creek. Martin County is up a little higher. I think Coconut Creek, Martin County, they're about 4 or 5, so that's about right in the range. And Mark Guinness says he's an Atlantic expert, and you probably agree with this. Maybe not. I don't know. But looking at it here, and Fort Pierce Westwood sitting there at 8, that's about right where I would think that, looking at it, in this situation here.
It's about right, but I would flip flop Mater Academy and St. Thomas Aquinas right now. That's the only thing I would change.
I got some questions about Fort Pierce Westwood being there at 8. I feel like maybe Blanche Ely could be somewhere in that mix there. South Fork potentially. We'll have to see here. Palm Bay Heritage obviously sitting there on the outside looking in, and at the 7 seed right now, you're sitting to Fighting Larry Bluesteins, his alma mater, North Miami. Mark Cannon says he would love to see Atlantic play Aquinas. I think that would actually be if it's Atlantic 1, Aquinas 2, or flip flop those. They play for the regional championship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, as we were starting to run out of time here, let's go into 6A Region 1. Obviously, see Buchholz sitting here at 1. Obviously, Pace, Buchholz, Lake Howell 1-8, Pace 4-5 with Oakleaf, Mandarin 3-6 with Evans, and then Anise 2, Tate 7. Yeah. Any thoughts there, Chris?
Something is off on there, and I can't put my finger on this bracket. Maybe it's Lake Howell. I don't know.
Well, let's compare it out to what we got here. Buchholz, Nice, Oakleaf. I feel like Oakleaf should be higher. Obviously, Oakleaf has played a much tougher schedule, in my opinion. They should be a little bit higher. I feel like they probably should be like a 3-4 type situation, but this will settle out as Oakleaf and Mandarin have got to play each other. We'll see what happens there. Pace, Evans, Mandarin. Fletcher, I think that's what the problem is it's Lake Howell. Honestly, in my opinion, right this second, Fletcher should be kind of mixing there, but they're not. So.
Yeah, like I said, Lake Howell, it bugged me. That just throws me off.
No, absolutely. I agree with you on that one there. And looking at that one, so let's go into Region 2 here. Armwood at 1. I got questions here, but well, actually, I don't have questions necessarily Armwood being 1 in this region because I feel like Osceola it's probably between Osceola and Armwood that's going to be that 1-2. South Lake, I'm having a hard time grasping being at 2. I feel like, again, Armwood, Osceola, they're much better teams. Obviously, Melbourne played Osceola pretty close. So maybe Melbourne's not getting the benefit of the doubt. I think maybe in this situation, but we'll see. Obviously, they got to play Vera coming up here in the next few weeks. So we'll see what happens there in that situation here. Yeah. But Bartow was actually like below the 8. And they are the highest rated team in their district right now, and so they would be the district champ if the playoff ranking started today. Because Plant is actually the number 8 team right now, but Bartow would supersede them into that bracket, into that slot.
If anything, I would put Melbourne at 5, maybe 4, and put Ford at 6 and Wharton at 7. That's my only observation there.
No, absolutely. Here, as we look at it here, and it just there's a lot that's going to happen here, but man, let's take a look at Legion 3. Palmetto sitting there at 1. But I gotta say this is probably one of the regions that's giving me the biggest head scratcher. Why in the hell is West Boca Raton 5? Someone please answer that one for me.
I'm confused with this.
This is where this is where I have a lot of questions, because West Boca really should be the 1 seed. Palmetto 2, probably more likely. Parish Community at 3, probably. Sun Lake has played some better football this year, but they're not getting valued here with the rankings. You got Leonard obviously doing their stuff. Lando Lakes, who had a close game against Mitchell, not even getting their due diligence. I mean, at least in the mix. Yes, I get that. Wiregrass.
I got a lot of questions about Mitchell right now, and that they shouldn't even be in this bracket right now.
No, you're right. And they just barely beat Lando Lakes. And but what's going to end up happening is that we're going to end up in a situation that there's going to be a 3-way tie in that region. We've got the outrage about West Boca, because West Boca should not be this low. That's just my pick.
West Boca should be number 1 seed.
Yeah, I mean, they look at the schedule they played. I mean, again, I don't know. I digress. Region 4 and 6A, Miami Southridge at 1. I don't disagree with that one on there. They should be there. West Broward 2, no disagreement there. Monarch 3, no disagreement. Flanagan 4, again. Flanagan 4, South Plantation 5. Homestead, who's had their struggles, we'll have to talk about that, but they're not in the mix here right now. Obviously, going to look at it, you got Doral Academy sitting at 6. I feel like Doral, we'll have to see more about them. Piper at 7. Piper, obviously, good season last year, but they've had their struggles this year, sitting at 3-3, but we'll see. And then obviously Cooper City at 8. Cooper City probably is the biggest head scratcher, but then again, Cooper City is sitting at 4-2 right now. So they may be.
Look at on the outside looking in on it with that region.
Yeah.
That'll tell you everything.
Yeah, it's there's a lot. There's a lot to be. I mean, South Broward sitting there on the outside looking in. I mean, there's Homestead on the outside looking in. So we'll just we're gonna see what's gonna happen here with this one. But a lot left to be desired here in terms of the rankings here, and as we roll along here. All right. Let's go into Class 7A here as we look at this. We wrap this up here. Obviously, we're going to be almost backing up into our first show here. But Spruce Creek 1, Sanford Seminole 8. Sanford Seminole beat Lake Brantley. Obviously, they're sitting there in the rankings now, sitting there at number 8. They were on the outside looking in last week, but getting that big win over Lake Brantley. Maybe they're talking like Brantley being that good this year. We may want to pump the brakes just slightly.
Yeah, after that loss last week, I've kind of pumped the brakes on that one too.
So I mean, it's not to say that Lake Brantley ain't good. It's just it's what they're doing is impressive. It's just that this is one game. If you really wanted to make a statement, this was a game that you should have made a statement here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Emery, we'll see, but I know that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to ask for a divulge of what the ranking formula is, and that again, like Max Preps, I get it. Where Max Preps does not want to divulge your formula, I wouldn't want to divulge your formula, and I don't think Laz would want to divulge his formula either. So it's not that we can give you components of what it's made up of, but at the end of the day, when we've worked so hard on this, why should we give up what we give up the goods like that? I don't want to give up the goods. Yeah. So Spruce Creek won. I agree with that, but Spruce Creek DeLand, that game got suspended. Right now, the target date is November 6th, my understanding, but we'll have to see before the weather stoppage. Obviously, they're down 14-0. We'll have to see what's going to happen there when that game is actually going to be made up.
There's questions about when that game's going to be made up.
Yeah, looking at it, you see like Mary Haggerty 4-5, Boone 3-6 with like Brantley, DeLand 2-7, Winter Park. Actually, this bracket actually fair and balanced this year in terms of who's going to come from the districts. I think you're looking at about 2 teams per district coming out of this one this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of
actually. I'm sorry. Actually, I made a mistake on my end. Seminoles 8, but Seminoles should not be in that 8. Who should be in that 8 is actually Creekside.
Yeah.
And Creekside and Atlantic Coast, so it's going to come down to those 2 teams, and that's what tells you right now is that outside of District 1, everybody else is in a fair balance with dealing with the regions this year. So, all right. So going to Region 2 here, Sarasota Riverview at 1. Right now, Sarasota Riverview, they're 5-0-1. I kind of agree with maybe some of that a little bit. Venice is playing IMG Academy National this week, so we're going to see what's going to happen here with them. But they're sitting there in the 5 seed. By the way, they were sitting on the outside looking in last week, so at least we got them in here. It's just where they should be at. We got more questions on that one to be answered. Obviously, Sarasota Riverview 1-8 with Cocoa, Plant City 4-5 with Venice, West Orange 3-6 with Alonzo, Sumner 2-7 with Winter Haven. Obviously, Popka Sailors, they're on the outside looking in. Mark, we'll have to see if they can fight their way into the playoffs. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
So.
Sarasota could play their way in too. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Honestly, looking at this here, I think, you know what, in my rankings, they got Sumner 1, Venice 2, West Orange 3 in that region. I mean, just looking at it, it just comes down to who's going to fight for it at the end of the day here on this one. We'll have to see here. I think one team that's kind of on an outlier who's 5-1, Strawberry Crest, and they're not even in the mix, by the way, right now. It's 7A Region 4, and they probably should be, but we'll see what happens here as we roll along here. Vero Beach 1, Lake Nona 8, Fort Pierce Central 4-5 with Dr. Phillips, Jupiter 3-6 with St. Cloud. St. Cloud got a big win. Obviously, St. Cloud's ranking, I think, is more merit now. East Ridge 2-7 with Tohopa-Caliga. I think Tohopa-Caliga is probably that one outlier here. I mean, actually, right now with our rankings, the 8 that we see here are the 8 that are in the top 8 right now. So this is maybe our teams that we're going to see here in the playoffs. It's just where they're going to finish at in the order.
Yeah, with the exception of maybe Tohopa-Caliga, I think this is about right.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's. I wouldn't be surprised if Vero Beach ends up getting that 1 seed overall here, despite the fact they did have a very, very close game against Fort Pierce Central. That was much tighter than what a lot of people thought it was going to be. And obviously, here we go. Class 7A, Region 4, Miami Palmetto 1, Cypress Bay 8, Coral Gables 4, Spanish River 5, Boca Raton 3, San Lucia 6, Goldman 2. Hey, there's Columbus 7 after picking up a win over South Day this past week to move them up a little bit. And now our rankings are starting to get Columbus in the mix here, but Columbus is kind of they're not a top 10 by any means in 7A, but they could be in the playoff mix here come November.
Yeah, I still think Columbus has got a lot of work to do, especially in their district. So, but we'll see.
I agree. And that's a look at 7A Region 4. A lot. Floyd, I think I'll be honest. I think Miami Palmetto will be that 1 seed. It's who else is going to follow behind all that? That's the question. I think there's a lot of things fluid here in this region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see Boca Raton jumping Goldman in this thing. So.
No, absolutely here. And Yes, with that said, it is time to wrap this thing up here, Chris. And boy,
Yep.
what a good Drive the State show we've had here.
Yeah, getting interesting. We still got a lot of questions, a lot of gripes, and a lot of I don't know what to say now.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know what to say as well, because as we roll it up here, but again, we got a lot to look forward to here. Obviously, we've got 4 more shows tonight. We have the Southwest Florida Blitz coming up here, then Space and Treasure Coast. Then we'll have we'll have South Florida, and then we will have Tampa Bay. So those are our 4 shows coming up here, starting at 7:30. So probably right after we'll think, yeah, we'll be ready.
I think after that, I need a shower too. So
I need to rinse. I need a shower too myself probably after that. So. All right, for Christopher Like, I'm Joshua Wilson here. We'll see you here back here in just a few minutes here for the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz.